Hello, students. Do you connect with this image? Do you think you are in the same boat? We do understand that in the final 2 years of school, as an IBDP student, you have to go through a lot of challenges, such as extended essay, IAs, TOK Exhibition, TOK Essay. Moreover, you have to prepare for the external exams so that you can score well and get into good universities. But don't worry, we are here to help you, to support you through your entire journey from preparing for your external exam in academics to supporting you in completing the 6 internal assessments that you have to do, along with the commentaries for the TOK exhibition, the TOK essay, as well as the extended essay. Along with that, we also help students with career counseling and support in university admissions. Well, I would like to give you a glimpse of how we structure our courses and in what ways it can help you. Let us start with the TOK exhibition. Now, when you look at TOK exhibition, there are the IB requirements are these. You have to select one IA prompt and you have to write a commentary of 950 words based on your selection of 3 objects which should be connected to the prompt, the IA prompt which you had selected. Now, there are 35 IB prescribed prompts and you have to select one out of that. Then move on to writing your commentary. So, what are the learning objectives that you will achieve from this particular session? Once we go through this session, you will be able to recognize how abstract TOK ideas are visible in our everyday objects and practices. That will help you to select the 3 objects which you have to do for the exhibition. So, while you understand this, you will develop skills of selection as well as justification, as you need to justify why you have selected the object and connect it to the prompt. This session will also help you to develop critical analysis skills, as we will look at an object from multiple object perspectives and develop claim and counterclaim related to it. Definitely, you will have an idea of how to use TOK vocabulary. The commentary should showcase your personal engagement and will prepare you for broader TOK success, which means in future when you have to write the TOK essay. Basically, the difficulties which are faced by the students is which prompt to select. You know there are 35 prompts, but out of them, which should you select so that you will be able to do justice to it? Then moving on, which objects to select? We do see thousands and thousands of objects around us. How do we decide which object is suitable to my prompt and how to link it to the real world issues? Okay, don't worry, as I said, we have a solution to that. The first thing we need to do is understand the prompts. Once you understand the 35 prompts, you can see which one you clearly understand and connect to. Okay, Let us start with an example. I am taking the last prompt, prompt number 35, which says, in what ways do values affect the production of knowledge? Let us first try to unpack this prompt and understand in simple terms what is expected from us. So the most important words in this prompt are values and production of knowledge. So what do we understand by values? Values can refer to principles, beliefs, or priorities. When we talk of values, there are moral values, cultural values, political, religious, personal, and academic values. Then, what is the meaning of production of knowledge? Production of knowledge is a process of creating, developing, or validating knowledge, such as research, discovery, innovation, scholarship. So, as you know, during COVID-19, we invented a new vaccine. That is production of knowledge. Now, we understand that the prompt is talking about values, wherein we can say morals, and it is talking about production of knowledge, which means it is talking about inventions, discoveries, etc. Okay. Now, in what ways? This also we need to understand. So the prompt is not asking us whether values affect the production of knowledge. It says, in what ways? Meaning, we are not just asking if values play a role. We are asking how and to what extent they shape the way knowledge is created. So, we can rephrase the prompt by saying that how and to what extent, let us take moral values. So, how and to what extent moral values affect inventions? A little easier to understand, I hope. Okay, let us look at moral values, for example. So when we talk of moral values, actually it refers to what is right or what is wrong. Now, in the field of medical research ethics, doctors won't test harmful drugs on humans, even if it could speed up discovery. So we are aware of this, that when a new medicine is invented, it is first tested on animals. We are also aware of the fact that a few decades earlier, animals were used for research, for studying in the laboratories. But now it has been reduced as much as possible. Okay, so coming back to this point, the ethics in the field of medicine says that harmful drugs or new invented drugs are not tested on humans, even if it could speed up discovery. Those drugs could in the future be very beneficial to treat certain illness, but still, due on ethical grounds, on moral grounds, it is not tested. Now, this is a generic idea that we have, but we need to give specific examples. So, moving on to a specific example from the medical research ethics. We can say that stem cell research. Now, stem cell research has a lot of debates. Some countries limit it because of moral views about life. Now, when you have this example, you can research and find out more appropriate, specific examples related to this debate. So let us look at the examples that we have tried to shortlist for you. Now, USA. In USA, federal funding for embryonic stem cell research was heavily restricted under President George Bush, citing moral or ethical concerns. In Germany, strict limits because of historical sensitivity around medical ethics and respect for life. But in UK, it is more permissive, allowing embryonic stem cell research under regulation, reflecting a different balance between scientific progress and moral concerns. Now, in order to write a commentary based on these examples, you need to understand a little more about what is the stem cell debate. You can research on it, but I'll give you a little idea here. Now, stem cell research basically refers to taking a few cells from the embryo. Now, very pre-stage of an embryo. And that is why it leads to the end of the death of the embryo. Now, in many cultures, it is considered that life begins at contraception only. So, when stem cell research is being done, it means that it is actually killing a life. And that is why this debate. Okay. Now, moving on to, after discussing this much, what is the TOK takeaway? What is the claim and the counterclaim that you can make? Okay. Claim means, here claim refers to moral values protect ethical boundaries in knowledge production. So you understand that knowledge production is trying to find cure for certain diseases. Stem cell research helps find medicines and cure for diseases such as Parkinson's and diabetes. So that cure would refer to knowledge production. But due to the moral values, there are ethical boundaries. And that is the claim that we have here. Now, what is the counterclaim? From claim, we come to know that research must respect life. We cannot kill somebody just because we want to research. But what is the counterclaim? Counterclaim says that moral values may slow down or restrict scientific discovery that could save lives. Now, due to these moral values, there are these limitations in the countries that you see. And because of these restrictions and limitations, the discovery of those cure could be slowed down, which actually in the long run can save lives. So this is the claim and the counterclaim. Coming back to the difficulties faced by students. So, which prompt to select? If we unpack the prompts in this way, and if we understand in simple, in our terms, what actually the question means, it is easy for us to understand and connect and decide which prompt we will select. After the prompt is selected, we do understand how to find examples related to it. Now comes the second difficulty, which objects to select. How do we select objects? Moving on. Now, we have this claim and counterclaim. So, objects that we can use based on the discussion on the moral values that we did and taking the example of stem cell research. We can find a government policy document or law. Example, the US Stem Cell Research Enhancement Act or German Embryo Protection Act. This could be our object. It shows how moral values, when life begins, are encoded into laws that restrict or allow knowledge production. Another object which we could decide either this or this, a newspaper or magazine article debating stem cell research. Example, a New York Times opinion piece on ethics of stem cells. So this could be our object. Now, we have to identify the object clearly. A this is a general example that we said. Now we are moving on to the specific example. A 2001 New York Times article debating restrictions on embryonic stem cell research in the United States. This is a particular article which was published in the New York Times. Make sure it's a specific date, publication, headline, because we do not give generic examples. We lose marks. So to make our commentary more stronger and to secure more marks, we will look for specific examples, and this is your example for a specific example. Now, taking this example, how do we connect it to the prompt? What role do values play in the production of knowledge? This is our prompt in simple terms. Okay. So this example, what does it tell us? It tells us that stem cell research can generate medical knowledge to cure diseases, but it involves embryos. So value system is attached to it. There is destruction of potential life. So the example is talking about moral values. It is talking about sanctity of life, ethics of experimentation, which shape what kind of research is allowed. So moral values actually shape what kind of research is allowed. Now, the TOK insight. From here, what is the TOK insight that we get? The TOK insight, again, we take it from the specific example and the connection to the prompt. So now our claim becomes that moral values protect human dignity and act as boundaries in knowledge production. The article shows society debating what knowledge should be or shouldn't be produced. So our article, you just have to give an image of the article in your final commentary, as well as the citation where you have taken it from. So you can say that the article is showing how society is aware of the moral values and how moral values decide what knowledge should be or shouldn't be produced. Now, what is the counterclaim? These restrictions may limit potentially life-saving discoveries. So the same article, from the same article, we get the claim also and the counterclaim. So the same article reveals disagreement between scientific progress and moral principles. So now, once you have got all this sorted out, you can move on to making a draft for your commentary on the first object. What would be your draft? The article shows how moral values directly influence the production of knowledge in the natural sciences. We are talking of experimentation in science. So it is talking about production of knowledge in the field of natural sciences. While scientists emphasize the potential benefits of stem cell research, there are opposing voices which stress the moral value of protecting human life from conception. This demonstrates that knowledge production is not only shaped by scientific methods, but also by societal debates about ethics. It raises the TOK question of whether moral boundaries safeguard society, or whether they restrict valuable discovery. So from our earlier discussion, this is the outline that we have been able to make for our final commentary based on Object 1, which is a specific newspaper article which was published in the New York Times. And then you can polish and this draft and write your commentary a little more, give a little more depth to it, and at the same time, use your TOK vocabulary, TOK knowledge to make it more impactful. So this is an example of how you can improve on your commentary. Okay. You can also discuss a little more about the embryonic stem cell research, how it is important and what conditions it can cure, and what are the things which the article is highlighting, what is the debate, what is the claim, what is the counterclaim, how TOK question is raised, and finally, how a justification of why you have selected this object for this prompt. So that is 1/3 of your commentary done, because you have to select 3 objects and write commentary on all the 3 objects. I have also tried to add the IB prescribed criteria to mark your exhibition commentary. So this is directly from the IB. This is the marking criteria on the basis of which commentary is marked. So actually the commentary looks at, the guiding question is, does the exhibition successfully show how TOK manifests in the world around us? And we have these rubrics. Let us look at the excellent commentary, what it asks. The exhibition clearly identifies 3 objects. So when you decide your 3 objects, you have clearly identified, and their specific real world context. So what is the connection in the real world? How does it link to an example from the real world? Links between each of the 3 objects and the selected IA prompt are clearly made and well explained. So the link between the object and the prompt has been explained. Moving on, there is a strong justification of the particular contribution that each individual object makes to the exhibition. So, justification. Why have you selected this object? If it is there, it makes a stronger commentary. All or nearly all of the points are well supported by appropriate evidence and explicit references to the selected IA prompt. So, whenever you are writing the commentary, you go back to connecting it to the IA prompt that you have chosen. The article reveals the counterpoint that such restrictions may delay discoveries that will save lives. The object demonstrates that scientific knowledge is not created in isolation. Now, when you look at this sentence, the object demonstrates that scientific knowledge is not created in isolation. It emerges within a framework shaped by societal debates about morality and ethics. So this is your connection to the prompt that you have selected earlier. Okay, so I hope things have become a little more clear to you on how to write the commentary. In our future sessions, we will be unpacking all the other 34 IA prompts so that you have a proper clarity about prompts. We will be taking up random objects and ask and answer TOK questions. Which TOK questions should connect to that object? So we actually learn how to link real things to abstract TOK concepts. Another session would be to connect these objects to the prompts. So how do you choose objects and how do you connect them to the prompts? Another session will focus completely on how do you make claims and counterclaims related to the TOK lib. Now, whenever you whenever you construct claims and counterclaims, you are actually talking about different perspectives. So it will teach you how to balance perspectives, which is very crucial in commentaries, and evaluate IBDP exhibition exemplars. So we will take up a few exemplars from IB and we will mark them based on the IB criteria that I showed you. So here you will understand how to write a strong commentary. Which commentary is weak? If it is weak, in what fields, in which sections it is weak? How do we improve upon that? So our future sessions would be based on these. Now, when you look at our structure of guiding you, actually, we connect you to an IB examiner who is there with you from the beginning of the journey till the end. But along with the examiner, we also have the subject expert who will help you go through the different phases of writing your commentary gradually. And along with that, the entire commentary we have divided into smaller tasks, and we have PhD mentors to guide you finish those smaller associated tasks so that you are more comfortable. You can ask any question, any query that comes to your mind, and you can work together to complete the associated task and move on further with the other tasks. So that is the structure in which we are trying to help you. And finally, in the end, the examiner will also evaluate your final work and give feedback so that you can improve upon your final commentary and make it more stronger and achieve greater marks or levels. Thank you.